All right, welcome. My name is Sarah, and this is a quick myofascial release follow along. We're going to be touching the calves, the quads, the pecs, and your lats. You'll need a lacrosse ball, a dowel, or a broom, and a foam roller for this. Okay, so we'll get started with the calves. And we're going to mostly be rolling out just this part, this upper region right up here. Okay, so the moment you start getting down here, this is where your Achilles tendon is, and we want to be in the meat of the muscle, the gastrocnemius and the soleus. And so you can begin by bringing the lacrosse ball here, bending your opposite knee, and kind of check in with the spaces here, rolling to the side of your calf, and then kind of go up and down like that, slowly. And then you can go to the inside and roll in slowly and to the middle. And as you progress, you can cross your ankles and really lift up through your hands as you find those spaces. Okay? And I'm just kind of rocking forward and back on a part that I found, a trigger point that I found. So I'm just rolling back and forth on that space for a moment. And then you can take breaks in between release, let water flow in. And then you can revisit that space again. So you can cross the ankles, roll forward and back. And it might be more tender or less tender. And another way to go about it is you can uncross your ankles and slightly flex your foot and point your foot as you do these small movements. And you're going to want to do ideally 2 minutes on each side. But again, if you only have time for 1 minute, again, it's better than nothing. And that's how you do the calf. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video and finish that side, and then do the other side, and we'll meet back here and do some mobility work with the ankles as well. Okay, so now that you're back, after you've done your calves, hopefully it didn't hurt too much. We're just going to come into a low lunge position, and you can just rest your hands on your thigh, and you're going to lean forward over your toes as much as you can. Kind of baggy pants on here, but lean your knee forward as far as you can. Drive your knee heel down into the floor so you really get that stretch. If you want more weight, you can also just rest on your thigh, so you can kind of put the weight of your body into the ankle and the calf here, and you can slightly pulse for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. And that's it. And then you'll switch. And again, kind of checking in with it, seeing the range of motion that you might have acquired by releasing your calves, really pressing that heel down into the floor really actively. Good. And then you'll lean forward as far as you can without lifting your heel. And then you can also add the weight of your body. You can really rest on your thigh here and do slight pulses for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice job, and release. Okay, so that's the calves. Next are the quads. So get a foam roller, or get your foam roller out. And if hopefully you have a mat or some soft space to be on. I'm just on my rug here. And with the quads, I'm a little bit tighter, more like closer to my knee than my hip. So you got to find the place that has the most trigger points. But again, you're going to bring one knee out to the side as you come onto your forearms, and just check in, light pressure at first, rolling up and down. Again, you might have to roll forward. Hopefully you have some space to do this in. Checking in with the lateral quad, kind of rolling onto the side of the quad, the outside of the leg, without going to your IT band, just to the outside of the quad. The IT band would look like, and you don't really release your IT band, you release the muscles at the top, but it would look like this. So you're just kind of doing like a 45-degree angle for the lateral quad. And, ooh, yeah. And slowly breathing there into the lateral quad. You can bend your knee if you like to stretch out the quad as well. That's probably going to feel even more intense. Yeah. And then slowly come back to center and then roll up and down along your rectus femoris muscle, which is the middle quad here. Bending the knee, small oscillations on trigger points. Yeah, and then go ahead and continue on this leg. Pause the video here. Put a timer on for 1 minute, 1 minute, a minute and a half, 2 minutes, depending on what you have time for. Switch, and we'll meet back here and do some active stretches for your quads. Okay, so now that you've done both sides, we're going to do an active stretch for the quads. So again, we're going to get into that low lunge position that we are in for our dorsiflexion. So again, in this half kneeling stance, a 90-degree angle on both legs. You're going to really press that back knee down into the floor actively, as if someone like is pulling down on the knee. And then you're going to isometrically, meaning you're not going to move it. You're going to drag it forward, squeeze the butt, that again, for me, it's my left butt cheek. Squeeze that back glute. So then now your quad has to really relax now to get that full, to get the squeeze with the glute, the opposite muscle has to relax. And breathe for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and let that go and do the other side. Again, press the knee down into the floor really actively. Squeeze your glute. Drag your knee forward. And relax the muscles of your face and jaw, right? We're just stretching the muscle, nothing crazy here. And breathe down into the front of your hip. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. The last breath. And nice work. That's it. Okay. So those are the quads. Excuse me. So now we're going to move on to our lats. Okay. So if your lats are really tight, you can use the foam roller for this, or the lacrosse ball. I tend to like the lacrosse ball a little bit more because it's more targeted into those small little knots that I want to get into. But again, if it's too much for the lacrosse ball, if you happen to have a tennis ball at home, you can use a tennis ball or use the foam roller. So if you're going to use the foam roller to get into it, I have 1 foot here, 1 foot at the front. So my top leg is at the front, and I'm going to lay down like I'm laying on a beach somewhere, right? And I'm going to use this foot to kind of drive into the floor to help me roll out the lat here. And again, this also helps stretch the lat out by bringing your head behind, or your hand behind your head. Oh yeah. So again, you're on your ribs more or less. Like right below your shoulder blade is where your lats originate. So maybe you can palpate and find your shoulder blade, but it's more or less right here, where like for the ladies out there, right where like your bra line would be, and maybe a little higher than that. And this is how you'll do it on the foam roller. And you can also stay still, and you can roll your chest down and roll your chest back. So that's another way to go about it instead of using your feet. Okay, and if you're going to use the lacrosse ball, I'm going to do the other side. I'm going to use the lacrosse ball then. Again, same setup, but again, you're a little bit lower off the ground. Put your foot in front, and you are just small movements with the lacrosse ball. It's not like a big sweeping motion because it's really just the tops of the lats that we're trying to get to. So you can open the chest and lower the chest with the lacrosse ball on that origin space where the lats originate. Remembering to breathe. And you're rotating back and forth, small movements. Maybe you're rolling up and down a little bit as well. Yeah. Yeah, that feels pretty intense for me. So either the foam roller or the lacrosse ball, you choose your medicine and do one side again for 1 to 2 minutes, and then do the other side for 1 to 2 minutes, and then we'll do the active stretch, which will be really fun. Okay, so the active stretch is going to incorporate the broomstick. In this case, this is my mop stick. But we want the lats kind of like we want the hands where we would do like a chin up, essentially. And what we'll be doing with the stick is we're going to be actively pulling at the stick, okay? Pulling it out this way. So you'll be pulling the stick out this way, and then you're going to go onto a couch or a chair, or you could do this on the foam roller even. So you can come here, bring your elbows to the foam roller if you have a longer one. And then you're going to walk your hips back, and then pull at the stick as you sink your chest down to the floor. I find that I don't know, I actually really don't like that, but you can do that if you want to. I like it being a little bit higher so I have more range of motion. So it'll be here onto the couch. I'm going to pull at my stick really actively, and then I'm going to let my chest sink down as I pull. And what this is doing is that you're activating your lats as they're being lengthened, so that you are making sure that these release patterns, some of the things that you released, the muscles that you released are like, oh, I can be in these ranges of motion. It's okay, because you're incorporating it right afterward, which is really great, because myofascial release is really great on its own. And it's really great incorporated with some PNF stretching or just really active stretching. So that's what we're doing here. So again, elbows down, pull at your stick, let your chest sink down, pull. And this is hard shit. This is really, really hard stuff. So again, elbows down, open the chest, active stretch through the lats and breathe into your armpits. Breathe out. Breathe into your armpits. Breathe out. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew. And relax that. Okay. So that was the lats. And then finally, my favorite, my favorite is the pecs. Okay, I actually find whenever I release my pec, it helps with my neck tension so much. It's so helpful, even though it's not that great in the moment. But ideally, what I would like you to do is to go to a wall. So I'm gonna kind of show you, pretend like I have a wall here, and maybe I'll go into like a squat position, but I'll pretend like I have a wall here, and I'm gonna like really lean into that wall with the ball here, and I'm gonna kind of slowly rotate away, and you're gonna just do these small movements up and down on the wall, finding those tender spaces. And again, I'm like having the ball like right here, like right at like where my shoulder and pec like connect, right at the top. I'm not like down here, but it's right up here. Yeah. So you can also do this on the floor. Probably remove the mic for this. You can also do this on the floor. So you can slowly scoot over a little bit, but you can bring your hand out at an angle here, and you can kind of bend your opposite knee and send it over so that you can really put a good amount of weight into the lacrosse ball. And you're not rolling it so much, you're just kind of just rolling it forward and back, side to side. You can rest your head here if you like. And just breathe. Good. And continue doing that side either on the wall or on the floor. And do it again for 1 to 2 minutes. Do the other side. And I'll see you for the active stretch. Okay? So pause it right here. Okay, so you've done both sides, and now we got to do that active stretch. So the active stretch can be done on the wall, or it can be done. I've got to put my mic back. Or it can be done on the floor. So if you're doing it against the wall, just pretend like I have a wall here. I'm really actively pressing my hand into the wall. I'm like pressing, 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 that you feel the front of your shoulder and your chest begin to activate. And then you're going to rotate away as you press. I'm pressing and I'm rotating away, away, away. And then you'll hold for 10 seconds. And then you'll do the other side. Press against the wall, rotate, 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 and then press for 10 seconds and breathe. To do this on the floor, it's the same concept. You're going to lay belly down on the floor. You're going to press your hand into the floor really actively as you rotate your torso to the side. Again, I'm bending my opposite knee and sending it over and really actively pressing into the floor, and then hold for 10 seconds. Press, 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 press. And then you'll do the other side. Rotate. And I'm really pressing against the floor actively. And again, holding for 10 seconds there and releasing. So those were the 4 muscles that I find are the most beneficial to release for people who might sit a lot or that are looking to correct their posture. Quads, pecs, and lats. And the calf is just good because I think that a lot of people lack ankle mobility, and ankle mobility is just so essential for knowing how to squat well and move well and all that good stuff. So hopefully you enjoyed some of this. highly recommend you go for a walk after this or do a little bit of movement after this. You can check out one of my classes here on this channel and you can do a little bit of movement with a 20-minute class or something like that. Otherwise, have a beautiful rest of your day or evening, and I'll see you next time. Peace.